right, so this is topic 7.2, and we're going to be solving exponential equations. And we are going to spend 2 days on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and put both days as the date. All right, so I'm going to hold off on going through the steps because the first few that we're going to do, you don't have to do 2 of the steps. So if we're looking at this type 1, number 1, and if we know that 2 to the x plus 1 is equal to 2 to the 9, then we automatically know that x plus 1 has to equal 9. So if 2 to this power equals 2 to that power, then those powers have to be equal. So what we would do is we would just drop off the 2's and say that x plus 1 equals 9. So what does x equal? 8. And that's it. Well, for that one, that's it. They get way more difficult than that, but that's the basic idea. All right, this one, same idea. Is a little bit more difficult to do the solving part. Is something wrong? Jonathan, do you have a pencil again? All right, so I know that if 5 to this power is equal to 5 to that power, the powers have to be equal. So we'll just set the exponents equal to each other and then solve for n. Now, this one's a little bit more difficult to solve. So I would go ahead and get my n's together. So which n would probably be a little smarter to move, the 4n or the n? So you don't get a negative. Probably the n, yeah. So we would subtract n from itself, so it cancels out. Subtract it from its like terms. All right, so we get 3n now. And then from here, it's just 2 steps. One step is going to be to add or subtract, which in this case is going to be to subtract. And then the last step is going to be to divide. Now, the next two there's a little bit more work at the beginning. So we can't drop off the exponents if it's not a situation like 1 and 2, where it's just like a number to a power equals that same number to a power. So this one, or these two, we're going to have to do that first step where we're going to use the properties to simplify. So if we're multiplying, like we're multiplying these together, what do you do with the exponents if you're multiplying? Do y'all remember? Add. So I am going to add those together. And the 3 is not going to change. So it's still going to be 3. But I'm going to add k and k and get 2k. And then that plus 2 kind of just comes on over. All right. So now it's like the first one started. So we have 3 to the power, so we can just drop off the 3's and set the exponents equal. And then solve it for k. So I went ahead and moved my 2k over. Now there's 2 steps. One step is to add. And the last step is to divide. Now you guys don't have to show me like all these little steps where I'm doing the minus 2k plus 1 plus 1. You don't have to write that down. You can just do that in your head if you want to. But I do want to, like, every time you do something, I want to see what you get. All right, let's look at number 4. Okay, same thing as number 3. It's a little bit more challenging. So we are going to, yeah, that's the answer. That's what k is. Oh, it's not 3. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's just 1.
Well, then what do you do with the big number? It's just
What? You're talking about this 3?
Yeah.
You're not really worrying about what that 3 is. You're worrying about what k is. So when you figure out what k is, you're done. I just messed up and didn't actually divide. Okay, so this one is similar, except I'm going to have to add twice. That's going to be 10. And then I'm going to add negative 4 and 9 and get 5. And then the other side still has the 10. I'm going to add v and 2v, and then 4 and negative 11. All right, and then we're ready to just set the exponents equal and figure out what v needs to be. So I'd add the 7 and then divide by 3. So the work I showed on this one is really all I need to see you show me. If you want to show me more, like if it helps you to write out all the little parts, go ahead. But this is all I really need to see. All right, now the next 6 are going to get a little more challenging because none of these already have the same base. All right, so on number 5, one side is 6 and the other side is 36. So we have to write them with a common base, or we'll write with the same base. So what do you guys think that base is going to be? 6 or 36? 6. So the side with the 6 we're going to leave alone. And then we want to write 36 as 6 to some power. What power? The second power. 6 squared is 36. So I can, instead of writing it as 36, I can just write it as 6 squared. Does that make sense? Okay, I just replaced it. And now we're ready to do what we did on the first 4. We can, since they're both 6, we can drop off the 6's and make it 2x minus 10 equals 2. And then just solve it. 2 steps. One step is to add that 10. And then divide. Now, I've written the answers to your homework already on the board, but if you wanted to check this yourself, you could take that 6 and plug it in here and do 6 raised to the 2 times 6 minus 10 and make sure that you do get 36 if you wanted to. All right, let's look at the next one. So it's another one. We have, before we can set anything equal, we have to write with the same base. That base is going to be 2. 2 to the 4th is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would be 16. So what do y'all think? 2 to what power gives you 8? 2 to the 16? That would be 2 times itself 16 times.
7.
2 times 2. 4 was too big. He said 2 to the 4th.
Oh,
and 2
8.
to the 4th was 16. We want to get 8. It is 3. 2 to the 3rd is 8. If you don't believe me, you can take your calculator and raise 2 to the 3rd power. It's 8. All right, so now I'm ready to just drop off those 2's and say that p minus 7 is equal to 3. So p is 10. All right, let's look at number 7. It's kind of tricky. Now I think we talked about this just a little bit, but we haven't really done a lot with it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you on number 7, the base is going to be 7. So we need to raise 7 to some power, so it's equal to 1/7. Any ideas? Is there a power that can change it to a fraction? A type of power?
Isn't that a letter or something like that?
Mm-mm. No. Are you thinking of I? Yes.
Yeah, so fraction.
A fraction means a root. So it's not a fraction, but that's good thinking.
Decimal?
Nope, not a
Divided?
decimal either. What?
5.
No.
Doesn't dividing mean a fraction like that?
Yeah, but we want to write it so it's 7 to some power is equal to 1/7. Negative. So 7 to the negative 1 is 1/7. That's what the negative exponent means. So like 2 to the negative 1 is 1/2. 3 to the negative 1 is 1/3. That's what a negative exponent means. But it's been a while, so that was a good job thinking there. All right, then we're ready to just set our exponents equal and then subtract 11 and divide by 4. All right, here we go. It was -3, yes. All right, so here we go. Now, this base of 2 is going to be what it is. So 2 to some power gives you 32. So if you don't know, you can just do 2 squared. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So every time the power goes up, you're multiplying by another 2. So it's going to be 5th. So 2 to the 5th will give you 32. All right, so then I can set 5 equal to 2m minus 9. And then add 9 and divide by 2. You should get 7. All right, and then number 9 is a little tricky. So we're going to need to write 1/8 as 2 to some power. So for it to turn into a fraction, what kind of power does it need to be? Negative. Good. Yes. And so she said -3. So that's right, because we just saw that 2 to the third is 8. So if I want that 8 on the bottom, it has to be 2 to the negative third. Then we can set the exponents equal. And we're going to get -5. All right. All right, so you guys look at 10. We're going to have to write these with the same base. The base can be 4. It actually could be 2 also, but it's going to be easier if we use 4. So how can you rewrite 16? 4 to the second. Good. All right, then we'll set the exponents equal. And then when we subtract 2, we get 0, which is fine. 0 is a perfectly acceptable answer. Just feels like it shouldn't be, but it is. All right, so what questions do you guys have? Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back to number 9?
Yes. All right, so your assignment is on the second page where it says you get unit 7 homework 2. And I just want you to do the front today and keep it. Don't turn it in because we'll need it for Monday. Now, if you are worried you're going to lose it, you can put it in that folder with your name on it.